Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the Dotcom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a great show today. You know, I get so excited when we bring business people on the show that specialize in a certain space and really do an amazing job. And of course, entrepreneurship is all about building a great team, building a great brand, and taking great care of your customers. And of course, many people that watch the show, I spent a lot of time in Arizona, and the Arizona marketplace is incredible. There's so much going on in Arizona. There's building, there's commercial, there's residential. It's always been a hotbed of a lot of activity. And one thing that everybody needs and everybody talks about is, of course, is improving their home, improving their commercial building. So we wanted to bring one of the real leaders in Arizona in residential and commercial painting on the show, because everybody talks about, when you want to freshen something up, when you want to sell your house, one of the first things you can do, of course, is paint the house and make it look great for curb appeal. And commercial buildings, of course, can improve the value of their commercial buildings by making it look good for comps. So what we've been able to do is invite Mr. Doug Karras on the show. And Doug is the CEO of Arizona Painting Company. He has a great story, a great team. We're delighted to have him. He's done such a remarkable job. We're going to get into it, but Doug, welcome to the Dotcom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thanks, Andy. Excited to be here.
Great to have you. You've built a great company. You win all the awards all throughout Arizona as the best painting company in Arizona. You've got a great team, whether it's people that go out and give the quotes, the salespeople, if you will, or the actual people doing the job. Everybody gets dressed up in great looking outfits, and you have great vans rolling all over the valley. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Doug, tell us about what you do at Arizona's leading residential and commercial painting company, Arizona Painting Company. And then we have a lot of questions for you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we are a residential and commercial painting company. We do both interior, exterior painting. We do cabinets. We also do epoxy floor coatings. And yeah, we specialize in helping homeowners that need to get their house painted, whether they just want to change the curb appeal, they get a notice from their HOA, or if somebody that is in the commercial industry owns a building, is a property manager, we want to help them get any of their commercial painting needs taken care of as well.
I love it. Let's talk about residential. We have so many questions. The exterior of the home, that's really the first impression that people get, and it's very important with regard to the value of a home. And of course, the exterior paint and the interior paint also protects what I call the most prized asset that anybody has, which is their home. And also a good paint job on the outside, if you're selling your house, gives it a great wow factor. So let's talk about that. How often do realtors reach out to you? They say, Doug, we've heard about what you're doing. Let's give our home a wow factor.
Yeah, all the time. Painting, especially exterior, but even interior, the ROI on it is close to 90%, which is one of the best ROIs you're going to get on a home improvement. That, you pay the money now to get it painted, get it looking great. And then when you go to sell it, you get almost dollar for dollar back in increased sales price based on having your home painted. So it's a great investment. You get to enjoy it while you're there. And then it also helps when it comes time to sell the house as well.
Yeah, I love it so much. And you have such a great following from so many professionals. You have real estate experts that reach out to you. And of course, the commercial is a big part of your business as well. I know you've done some huge projects, hundreds of thousands of square feet. Let's talk about it just for a minute. How does that management of such a big project happen at your company? For the other entrepreneurs watching the show in a different space, how do you project manage?
So it starts with a lot of planning. Anything that, especially, a large project like that, you really have to have it set up before the project starts to know how are we going to do this project? How are we going to do it safely? How are we going to make sure we get the paint ordered? How are we going to make sure we've got the right paint? We've got enough, whether it's lifts, equipment on site. So we have a project manager that oversees every single job site that we're working on. And then we also have an on-site foreman that's there interacting with the customer. They're also working, but they're also running that job site day to day to make sure that The customer gets a great experience, but also the paint job looks amazing by the end of it.
Yeah, I love it. So many people really rely on your company to take care of their properties, whether it's commercial or residential. And of course, I've lived in, the Phoenix marketplace for a long time, of course, coming from Midwest. And one thing that I know, it gets hot, and paint sometimes deteriorates, and, you get water infiltration sometimes because we get those giant monsoons. Paint's very important. Let's talk about how important paint is to not only the natural beauty of a commercial or residential property, but also to make it a good barrier to protect it from the elements. And I want to talk about this super cool thing that you have called the Total Home Painting Diagnostic.
Yeah, so biggest thing paint does is it's the protective coating on whatever surface the exterior of your building or house is. So if it's a stucco surface or if it's a block surface, the paint acts as that protective barrier that once that starts to break down, then you can, if you let it go long enough with the sun, the elements that we get here, you can end up having a lot bigger issues down the road and have a lot more damage and a lot more costs if you let that go too long after it starts to break down. So yeah, we have a tool on our website at arizonapaintingcompany.com that we have for homeowners to literally go on there, and it's just a series of questions. It's, I think, 8 to 10 questions that basically kind of ask them to rate certain things around their house, whether it be the fascia boards, the foundation, the stucco condition, how many cracks there are, and they rate those. And then at the end of those questions, it spits out a score and tells them basically you need to paint right now, you can go a couple more years, or you should have painted probably a year or two ago.
Yeah, I love it so much. And it's such an important part of sort of taking care of your prized possession and probably the biggest asset that you have in the world, which is your home and, of course, commercial buildings as well. Let's talk about this team. We look at the reviews. They're incredible. Everybody loves what you're doing. You have a foreman and you have a supervisor on site, and, before a job gets completed, it gets, gone over with a white glove, fine tooth comb by, the experts that you have out there. People rave about that on the reviews. When we think about the team, what's the most important thing when you're hiring at the company? Are you looking for attitude? Are you looking for experience, background, painting background, or what's the right fit for your company?
Biggest thing we're looking for is somebody that's going to live out our core values. So we've got 6 core values. Number 1 being always do the right thing. One of them being always learning and growing, choosing to be positive, delivering what you promise with excellence. Those are a couple of them, but those are our core values. And when we're hiring, we're really looking for somebody that lives out all 6 of those core values. And that's, the culture we're trying to build. We've been rated the #1 painting company in Arizona for the last 6, going on 7 years. And we've only done that because of our team, right? You can talk about me, our company, all this stuff, but it's really because of the team and the people we have that are interacting with customers every single day. And it's because they're living out those core values. That's what we really look for when we're hiring.
Yeah, and of course, the people that give the reviews, they not only love the job site, what happens at the job site. They also love sort of the communication, what happens inside the shop, and, the way in which everything gets organized and the way it gets scheduled, and how great the people are inside the shop. So that core value proposition that you mentioned is very important for your company. Let's talk about you. Here you are, you're running, Arizona's leading residential and commercial painting company. And of course, we know sometimes in business, you might have a couple guys, a couple gals, a guy and a gal, whatever combination you want. They say, hey, we're going to go in the painting business. And they go in the painting business and they last for 3 months and they're out. They can't handle the heat. They don't understand it. They don't know how to, lay paint right. Let's talk about you. Did paint always fascinate you? Were you a painter early on, or was this something that, was an entrepreneurial journey that you said, hey, painting is a great space. I can go into this and do very well?
Yeah, it really, growing up, I never anticipated that I was going to be in the painting industry. But, I knew from a young age, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki when I was in middle school. And reading that book, it changed my whole paradigm and my mindset of what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to own my own business and then eventually, maybe do some real estate stuff after that. But when I was 19, I got offered a job to move down to Atlanta from Michigan, where I grew up. And started in the painting industry, and I learned it from the ground up. I was, painting and pressure washing during the day, and then from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., 6:30, I was knocking on doors, setting up free estimates. So I really got and from the next 5 to 6 years, I was doing every position in our company, and I was getting a business degree, an MBA in the painting industry. And, I credit that to, what's helped us, become successful as a company, me and then my 2 other partners really all learning and knowing all the ins and outs of the business.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great journey. And of course, you learned every aspect of the business and you continue to build it. And one thing that I love is a company that really stands behind what they do. And, when somebody hires your company, I mean, it's not like you go in, you do the paint job and you're gone. I mean, they get a warranty. They get what I would call ironclad warranty with the job. Let's talk about that, because people rave about this warranty that you provide and the aftercare that you provide on your jobs.
Yeah, so we have a bronze, silver, and gold package that all of our customers can choose between based on their needs, how long they're going to be in the house, and and what they're willing to pay. And each one of these different packages comes with a different warranty. So our silver, which is our most popular, is our 5-year warranty, and then our gold is actually a 10-year warranty. And this is for people that you're going to be in the house for a long time, and you want to pay a little bit more to make sure you get the best possible paint on the market. We're going to stand behind it and give you 10 years where if anything happens to that paint job, you call us. It's a hassle-free warranty, and we come back out and take care of it.
Yeah, I love it so much. And people love working at your company. I mean, you have actual painters that are related. I mean, you have father and son teams going out, and, you kind of brought this full family atmosphere into the business. And I love that so much. So for you and your partners from the leadership team, how important is it to make a family atmosphere with what you do and make people feel like they belong to this great team?
It's very important. One of my visions for our company is, we haven't currently gotten this, but to eventually become rated the top 10 best places to work in Arizona. And that's been a huge focus, is just our culture and making this a place where not only do we go out and try to find the right people, but then once we get the right people into our culture and our company, that they love it so much they never want to leave. And we've done a lot of things, about with personal development and really trying to develop our people and offer a ladder to move up, right? A lot of painting companies, there's no place to go, right? If you're a painter, there's no where to move up. But one of the things I'm most excited about in our company is that a lot of our salespeople, a lot of our project managers, some of our general managers started as a painter in our company, and now they've moved up, maybe 1, 2, 3 levels in our company, and it's really exciting to see.
I love it. And of course, during the interview, we're putting some photos up. I mean, you've got photos, on your website. You've done some gymnasiums. You've done some buildings. I mean, the before and after photos, it looks like it's a brand new building, like they just built it. I mean, it's incredible what you can do. And of course, you do a lot of inside work as well. And I bet during these hot summers, if you have the air conditioning on, I bet your guys like doing and gals like doing the inside work as well, right?
They do, yeah. During this time of year, July and August, we do a much higher percentage of interiors just because, it's really hot. A lot of people aren't thinking about getting the outside of their house painted. So, and our guys love it too. And our guys and our crews love working inside, not having to fight the 110-degree heat that we have here in the summer.
Yeah, I love it. And of course, Doug, somebody might be saying to themselves, I want to spruce up my property. Maybe I have a commercial building or a warehouse or an industrial center, need some painting. But they might be saying to themselves, I'm not 100% sure if I want to make that investment right now. What type of financing do you offer? Do you have a financing package as well?
We do, yeah. So we offer 1-year interest only, and then also a 5-year low monthly payments. So at a very low interest rate. So we offer anybody that if you want to stretch it out over a little ways, we can definitely make that work and help you by having it financed as well.
I love it. Of course, from my background in my studio and what I wear every day for my interviewing business, everybody knows at Dotcom Magazine, I wear black and I've got a blue background. I mean, because I'm not very good at color. But when I'm thinking about, interior, exterior, residential, commercial, I would imagine that you come across some people, they don't know what color they want. So what type of color consultation do you offer to your clients?
So we offer free in-home color consultations if somebody schedules and uses us to get their house painted. So whether that's interior, exterior, residentially, and also commercially too. Because a lot of times in the commercial side, especially a big building, you really want to know what those colors are going to look like. So we also help customers by offering a rendering option so we can actually show them what those colors would look like on the building.
Wow, that's super cool. So they get a rendering of what it's going to look like. I mean, that's incredible. I love it so much. I mean, you've taken painting. You know, when I was in college, I did a little painting, you know, but you've taken it and have taken it to a whole new level. I mean, you've really made this a professional approach. You really made this in a way where you think about the clients and then you say to yourselves, what do the clients want? And then you give them everything they want. And then I would imagine throughout the career, and you've been in business, 15 years, I believe, or longer now, that some clients maybe have said to you, Doug, along the way, hey, we would like it if you would do this. And then you listen to the clients and you put that in place. How important is listening to your clients to building a great business?
Yeah, you know, like I mentioned earlier, being ranked #1 painting company, we look at ourselves and our company as the company in Arizona that sets the standard. We want to be innovating and finding new ways to do things to be able to help give our customers exactly what they want and even more. So one thing recently that we've started as a new service that we started offering is power washing homes. You know, in Phoenix, a lot of times it leaves a dirt residue. You know, after we finish painting, you know, the windows they're a little dirty. So we've started offering a service now, and our customers would ask us like, "Hey, is this included for you to wash our windows?" And we're like, "Well, we're good painters, but our guys maybe aren't great at window washing." So we started a new service where we now professionally offer, you know, to wash your windows. You can do just the outside or the inside after we paint your home, or even as just a side service if you want to just call us for that. So that's just one way that we've really looked at, okay, how could we help give our customers a better service and, you know, and be able to make their lives easier when they use us.
Yeah, I love it, Doug. Of course, we're talking a lot about painting, but for entrepreneurs watching the show, I don't care if you're in the tech business, or I don't care if you're running a SaaS model, or you're selling a widget, or you're selling a service. You can learn so much from successful entrepreneurs. So let's talk a little bit about this. You have commercial, you have residential. Is it a different skill set of painter? In other words, do you need a certain crew to go out to the commercial versus the residential, or now can each group do the other?
Well, I'd say a lot of the skills are transferable, but yes, it is different. Commercial is much larger scale. You're using larger equipment. Typically, you might be using boom lifts, you know, 45, a 65, maybe even an 85-foot boom lift. And you might be having to work off scaffolding. And it definitely is, especially for the project foreman, you have to have experience and training on those things before we'd say, yeah, go ahead, you can run this, you know, large job site.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you've worked on some big commercial spaces. In your mind, when you dream about the future, what's the biggest commercial space you think the company can handle right now? How many square feet?
Oh man, I'd love for us to be able to eventually do work at some of the professional sports stadiums. You know, you got the Cardinals. We're also in Las Vegas. We're a Nevada painting company there, and you got the Raiders Stadium there. I'd love for us to be able to eventually do one of those.
Yeah, I love it so much. That would be very exciting, of course. When you do a big project like that, or soon to be that, but some of the other big projects that you've done, there's a lot of equipment that has to come into play. So how important is safety on your team? How often do you talk about safety? How often is that discussed amongst your team about staying safe on the job site?
It's very important. You know, one of my partners, who's also our COO, he kind of oversees the safety side of our business. And, you know, we're talking about this, you know, we do a painter meeting once a month. We're talking about it. We've got a new safety topic. We're really trying to make sure that our guys know, you know, correct ways to be safe and to be watching for areas that might be unsafe, and to make sure that, you know, we want everybody to go home every night to their families, right? We don't want anybody getting hurt on a job site. And it's something that as we've grown, we've made a much bigger focus as we've grown as a company.
Yeah, I love it. And when we think about expansion, all companies are thinking about growing, increasing top line revenue, increasing margins, increasing profitability. When we think about what you're doing, is there a geography play? In other words, you're in Las Vegas. Can you take this to other cities and states around the country? What does that imprint look like into the future?
Yes, absolutely. My vision, I eventually want to be in Dallas, Texas, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, some other cities in Texas as well. I think, really currently we're looking at the Southwest and really trying to grow in some of those markets where, we love the climate out here. It's great to be able to paint outside pretty much year round, which where I'm from in Michigan, you can't really do because you got the winter for 5 or 6 months out of the year. So yeah, really the Southwest, we see a lot of opportunities to keep growing here.
I love that. And you mentioned floor coatings. I mean, everybody in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Tucson, they're starting to coat up their floors, especially, they want to have the high profile vehicles on those good looking floors in the garages. And of course, it's a lot easier to clean a coated floor, of course. How big of a part of your business now is that floor coating business?
Well, we really just started offering this, 1 to 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So it's still growing, right? We've really been, working at training, getting the right process down and making sure we have all the right equipment, the right grinders, that we're using the right products, all that kind of stuff. But it has taken off a lot in the last 6 months. So it is starting to become a big portion of our business as well.
I love it, of course. And everybody knows, you're in the Valley, the Valley of the Sun. If you watch the Phoenix Suns, they're called that for a reason, right? And, even on their jerseys at the championship, they had, Valley of the Sun. There's a lot of solar panels, of course, in, the Phoenix metropolitan area. And since you started the window cleaning as an additional service, what about solar panels? Are you taking care of those as well?
Yep, exactly. Same thing. We found that, that really goes together well with window washing. So we do those and we offer those to anybody that has those, because you'd be surprised how dirty and dusty those can get. Because yes, we get a lot of sun. We don't get a lot of rain out here. So wind picks up, you get those, they're super dusty. They don't work as well as they should. So it's really important for our customers to be able to make sure that they're able to keep those clean.
Yeah, I love it. I want to get a little geeky with you for a minute. Then I want to talk about entrepreneurship. And I know you've only cut out a certain amount of time here today. You're running so many crews. So, when I think about it, Doug, and I think about what's going on, I think about that heat. You could be in Phoenix or Tucson and, those summers, are pretty hot. Sometimes they go up to 118, 119 degrees. When you're laying paint, do you have to be careful with the time of day during the summer and the heat, or is that immaterial with regard to laying a good coat of paint?
We do, yeah, especially in the weeks in June and July when we get up to, 110, 115, 117 sometimes. We have to make sure that, our guys are starting really early. So we start a lot of times 5:30 in the morning. And we have to make sure that we're painting kind of around the sun. So we're working in the shade as much as possible. And then come 12, 1 o'clock, we're wrapping up, we're cleaning up for the day, because in the afternoon, the surface temperature is just too hot to really be able to paint and make sure it's going to last.
Yeah, interesting. I thought that was the case because that heat can, you can fry an egg on top of a car vehicle's hood. Now, let's talk about entrepreneurship, because you've got a great entrepreneurial story. You started, you sold some paint jobs, you learned how to paint, you built the business, you have a great team. Your co-founders are amazing. Everybody who loves working with you. You mentioned your core values, which I love. And also, one of your goals is to be one of the best places to work. And I love that. That says a lot about you. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, Doug mentioning that his company is aspiring to be one of the best companies to work. That says all you need to know about running a great company. But for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, let's give back to the community. Maybe they're hitting a tough time. Maybe they're hitting a pothole in the road. Maybe they hit a wall, they freak out, they freeze in the frame. So for those younger entrepreneurs, Doug, that are going through that tough time, what type of information, what type of advice, sage advice can you give them about how to get through those tough times?
Yeah, so number one, I would say, is that everybody needs to have a mentor. When I was, starting out at 19 years old, I had an awesome mentor that helped mentor me for the next 5 to 6 years before, it was actually our former owner of our company. He sold the business to me and my two partners in 2014. And he was somebody I could always go to. And, even if I didn't have enough confidence in myself at the time, he believed in me, and that helped give me the confidence that I needed. So for young entrepreneurs, I'd say get a mentor and then just don't quit, right? There's going to be times that are hard. There's going to be challenges that you're going to face. And, if you keep pushing, if you keep believing in yourself and having confidence, you will get there. You will get to whatever your goal is if you don't quit. So many people quit when they're so close to getting across the hump, to getting over the hump. They just quit, right? It gets too hard. They get too stressed. They don't sit down and make a plan, and they just give up, and they miss that opportunity they might have had. So I'd say those two things. Number one, find a mentor. Number two is just don't quit.
That's awesome, Doug. I mean, remarkable story. I mean, the great advice about mentorship and surrounding yourself with people that really care about you, who can mentor you. And of course, I know right now you're mentoring so many other people. You care about young people. You give back to the community in so many ways through the company and in your own personal life and family. It's remarkable. I love it. I mean, there's so much to learn, and we're going to bring you back on the show because I want to focus in just on entrepreneurship, because here you were, you took this business, and here you're the leading sort of, paint company in Arizona. It's a great, remarkable story. What a great team you've built. What a remarkable approach to the value proposition for your clients. Commercial, residential, you do it all now, and you're line extending a bit to doing, of course, solar panels and windows and everything else. I'm sure you do fences and gates as well. What a great story. I'm so happy, Doug, you could come on the show today, and thanks so much for joining us for the Dotcom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for having me, Andy. I really appreciate it.